beautiful people. Hope this all finds you well. So lovely to be here with you once again and share some time. Hope you're enjoying the videos. Now today I would like to start with a quote that was gifted to me last week. Here it goes. The old Norse cosmology gives us the awareness that while light may bring enlightenment, it is the darkness that initiates change. I love that. In old Norse cosmology, it gives us the awareness that whilst light may bring enlightenment, it is the darkness that initiates change. And that was by Kelly Harrell. Beautiful, really beautiful, powerful quote. And I really kind of think that when I felt those words and I listened into them, and then I reflected on my own journey over this winter, it is, you know, it's that time where we have the opportunity, we have the invitation to really feel into where we are over those winter months, where we are, where we're going, and how we are moving forwards. And it is from that darkness then we arrive in the light, as I felt over those last few weeks there, with Brigid appearing in the doorway and her gently whispering, from the dreaming into the awakening. And we're drifting really gently out of that dreaming, you know, kind of take a look out the window and, you know, the mornings are lighter and the evenings are lighter. And I say we're drifting very gently from the dreaming into the awakening, because there will be days where we'll look out the window and it will be as if we're more as if we've just kind of like gently drifted back into autumn, or gently drifted deep into winter. And that is because we've got that tide turn, we've got that, you know, merging as one shifts and moves into the other, you know. And one of the things that we say so often is that, you know, the wheel of the year isn't just this one day event, it isn't just this clunk and we've arrived, clunk, we leave. But these are not just one day events, they are tides and they're seasons, and they ebb and they flow. And I think that's the thing with the transition from the dreaming into the awakening, the transition from winter into spring. We will get this kind of expansion and then this contraction, contradiction, I was about to say. And it's because you get this, like some days, like I look out the window today and it's absolutely beautiful. It's still nippy out there, but the light is building, the sun is absolutely a little higher in the sky, because those days are longer and the mornings are lighter, and you get that sense of, you know, it's building. And then, you know, a couple of days later, it's almost like we've arrived back into the depth of winter or into autumn. And it's like, you know, you get that contraction and then you get that expansion. And the thing is, you know, like, you know, I hear people say, oh God, you know, I just wish it was spring now. But I think the thing is to allow this to move through us. And, you know, one of the things that it teaches us is patience and allowing, you know. And the thing is, you know, it's like, if we can kind of, you know, when we have the opportunity to become very aware around twilight, you know, just see over this next week, if you've got an afternoon, early evening, that you can consciously just really become aware of twilight. And then you kind of take a peep at the clock you'll see we've shifted so far. So, I think it's very natural that we feel this, expansion on those days where, it feels really bright and sunny, and also kind of, be tender when you get this contraction, and that does, that pushes and pulls us between that expansion and that contraction, and that's why I say we are gently drifting from the dreaming into the awakening. If we think that where we are now, say 7 weeks around about, just over a month, 5, 6, 7 weeks, not even that really, that we are moving into Ostera, and it is spring equinox. It is where there's equal light and there's equal equal darkness, and it's when our energy begins to move from the inner into the outer, and there's that kind of opportunity, or that movement within us that begins to build, that wants to express ourselves, and that's beyond beautiful. And it's also an opportunity to think, what message do we want to share with the world at this present moment? What message do we want to share with the world at this present moment? From that comes other questions. As we move into spring equinox, I know within our ceremony and our rite and our earth journey that we are going to be spiraling into the center of our stone circle, and we're going to begin to explore those important questions. As we spiral into the center of our stone circle, we are going to take a shamanic drum journey. We're going to reach into that space, be guided deeply into that space to connect with our ancestors, connect with our allies, connect with our guides, connect with beloved Brigid, and begin to kind of like explore those important questions, of what is it, or what is calling into balance, and what is shaping within our lives, what is calling into balance, what is shaping within our lives. And then as we come out of that shamanic drum journey, we've spiraled there into the center of the stone circle, and we're taking that drum journey. And the interesting thing is, we have this fire circle and we have this stone circle that sit beside each other, and they slightly overlap. Dad had crafted that, and it took hold, and he kind of stood back, and there was this overlapping between the fire circle that feels deeply rooted. It's fire, and it's got this, it has this very masculine energy, and then the stone circle, it feels as if it's very nurturing and nourishing. It feels very gentle. It feels very feminine, and they gently overlap each other. So us to spiral into that place, we're going deep, which kind of is, the energy of winter is that introspection. It is definitely the feminine. It is the inward. It is the nurture. It's the nourishment. It's very much the yin. And for us to go into that space, and then as we explore those questions and we move back out, we're going to take one of the Celtic spirit oracle cards, and we're going to pick one, and that's going to be our ally as we move forwards in exploring those questions. And maybe that ally will begin to be able to unpack some of those questions, as well as the whispers and the wisdom of beloved Brigid, who is, she is the mistress of the hearth, of the home, the flame, nurturing us into our greatest and fullest potential. So what is being called into balance, and what is shaping our lives, what's moving through our lives, what has been stirring within us over these long nights, and what dreams have we been tending to, which is something we explored in our inbox ceremony. And as we move forwards into spring equinox, into Ostera, we're thinking of birthing that, and how can I step into my light? What are my, and what is my greatest potential? And how can I courageously move forwards? How can I be brave? How can I be brave? I think that's a really important thing, isn't it? Because once we identify, what is propelling us, what is it that we're wanting to birth into, what is it that's been stirring within us over the winter, what is it that may need to be brought into balance to allow those things to unravel and unfold within us. That courage is the thing that comes next. It's that thing of not allowing fears, our doubts to grab hold of us and stop us. How can I courageously move forwards? How can I be brave? And I think it's also, being courageous and brave in trying new things, or trying those things that we feel fragile in, or we feel vulnerable in, as we step into our potential. As we step into our potential, we can feel very vulnerable, very exposed, very fragile, but not in a fragile way, but a fragility. That felt like a contradiction, but it isn't. It is. I think, I was having a really wonderful chat the other day with some friends, and was saying, like, when it comes to a manifestation, it doesn't come from here. It doesn't come from here. It comes from here. We cannot think our way into our dreams. We cannot think our way into manifestation. It comes from the heart. It comes from a place of feeling. It is our heart that fuels our dreams, not our head. We cannot think our way into our dreams. We feel our way. And it is about being courageous. How can I courageously move forwards and feeling for that? How can I be brave and feeling for that? And that courage and bravery to do new things and try new things. Like at the weekend, beautiful little medicine story to kind of wrap up with. At the weekend, if we go back a little bit further to that, over time within my language, I talk about weaving, and I talk about that we are being woven back into the center. We're in a cycle of return. There's so much kind of language around that is expressed through spirit, expressed through my guides and those incredible unseen teachers that move around me, that constantly say, it's not about learning, it's yet we're forever learning. It's not about learning, it's about deep remembrance and weaving, you know. And then, you know, recently this year's Brigid's cross, and sitting there and weaving this beautiful, beautiful cross that then we went on to share with our community within our ceremony, woven from wool, then only to find out, you know, it was a tradition that was done also during the summer months, using sheaves of wheat. Beautiful, beautiful. And I felt as if I'd done it before, you know. So weaving is been moving around my awareness for the last 2 or 3 years, and a dear friend of mine was talking about willow over these last couple of years, and you know how you can grow it, and the fact that, you know, it grows very fast, the environment it loves, and how you kind of begin to work with it, soaking it for days, and the different types of willow. You know, this journey's been unraveling, and then, you know, I have this incredible thing that happens within my life, that as I begin to move towards something, people fall out the sky that point me into another direction with it, or reveal something else, or unfold something else, or share something with me that really, really takes hold. I have my friends that do that as well. They just kind of like reflect something back at me, and I think, oh my gosh, you know, I've been thinking about that. That's been, or there's a clear pathway forward, you know, and the most incredible things happen. But, you know, it is knowing that as you move towards something, you know, and if it's aligned, then all the pieces begin to position themselves. And so there I am, you know, weaving, and then, you know, these chance encounters, is it ever by chance? I really do feel it's by design, begin to appear. And there I was at this weekend, beginning to weave my first, I say my first in this lifetime, my first ever basket. And what I love about this was, you know, I was like, just like the curiosity of a child, and going, do you know what, I'm going to do that. I love the idea of that. I feel that's going to be really, really fun. I feel that's also very, very sacred. I feel that's very, very special. And what stops me? No, it's just like me, right? Okay. And it's about also knowing that you're not always going to perfect that. I look at this, right? This is, for me, this is absolutely beautiful. I don't know if you can see that. Just trying to get that in the camera. Right, absolutely stunning to know that I made that with my bare hands. Never, ever, ever done anything like that before. But, you know, the approach I took with it was, I'm just going to do it, and I'm going to learn as I go. You know, we don't expect to perfect our craft day one. Right, and for me, I can smell that beautiful willow, and it's smoked as well, so it has a really kind of smoky smell to it. It's beautiful, and it isn't about perfecting our craft on day one. It's about growing into the journey. It's about growing into the process. And you know, I had an upright, one of the uprights that you weave into. I had one of them snap, right? So the what's known as a wale would be then longer around the outside, and it's like it completely changed the shape of the basket. And I was like, it doesn't matter, you know. I'm sure our ancestors worked with what they had and worked with, you know. It's not about these you know, these journeys being perfect on day one. And then I was like, do you know what, I don't want to weave in a traditional handle. I kept seeing this basket actually sitting by the weaver's chair for days after I wove the Brigid's cross. Every time I passed the weaver's chair, in my mind I could see this basket, and Brigid always appears with a basket under her arm. And I thought to myself, as I was doing this, I thought, and I had a very good mentor that gave me the basic outline of weaving, and sent me some material that I was able to then work with to follow. and I thought to myself, I don't want to weave in a traditional handle. I kept seeing something very gnarled and kind of very kind of witchy, I guess, which is why it has this twisted hazel handle that had come from a beautiful tree that my dad and Tristan and I had to move, and we took the tree, cut the tree back, and then we took all these saplings off of that and planted them, and many of them have taken, and then some of the material we've used for wands and now handles. But beautiful story around that tree that I will share in next week's video. But the point is sometimes it's about just doing and being with it, and knowing that we don't have to perfect our craft day one. We don't have to perfect this journey. We don't have to perfect our dreams day one. They move, they shift, they take shape. You know, those of you that have known me over the last 5 years, you would see that I've alchemized my path. I've just constantly been moving with the flow of the tide, and in doing so I've been alchemized. I'm not the same person I was a year ago. I'm not the same person I was 2 years ago. We shift and move, and it's about just allowing yourself to do that. And the other thing is, it's not about perfection, it's about progression. So I know now I'm going to weave other baskets, but this basket will always be the most precious to me because it was the very first, and it's usable. You know, this basket will be used, and I also know if it cracks or breaks, I can repair it. And the thing is, I can see all the imperfections, but those imperfections to me make it beautiful. It brings more life to it, to me, because we live in a world that is very organic, but yet we often see it through this perfected filter which isn't real. And I look at all these, you know, quirks within this, and it just brings life to it. And I love that. I adore that. You know, it's very rustic, and very simple, but yet it's so strong and solid. You know, I'm like amazed how that's dried and how solid that is. And we use this now within our ceremonies. And when Tristan and I go out and forage, we use it. And over time, you know, we make him one too. I just think that smells lovely. I think it's just, you know, we have this opportunity as we move into Ostera to, you know, think about what's bubbling, and then, you know, how we can move forwards into it, and how we can be vulnerable in that and courageous in that, and approach it from a place of, it doesn't have to be perfect, it's all about progression. Now I'm going to gently leave all that with you, and I will be seeing you all very soon, and I'll see you all next week. Until then, have a beautiful day and a beautiful week, and most importantly, keep shining. Take care, guys. Lots of love, sending you all so much love.